You know what time it is. You know what time it is.
How firm thy friendship. Oh,
you know what time it is. Raw with them boys of the fall. You know what time it is. On the ground with a nose for the ball. You know what time it is. Blood, sweat, and them tears for this game. Leaving it all out on the field with no fear for you lames. And it's Buckeyes by a billion. We in the building with over 100,000. We represent from the uttermost to the public housing. If we don't play, our wide receivers got your secondary shook, so they cook them like Bobby Flay. Hey, stay out of my way and trust me, cause I know it's OH. Somebody please give this brother an IO. Come on.
What up, Buckeye Nation? Welcome to the Buckeye Boys, where we talk college football with real fans. Had to come to you today because we got some good news. Imagine that, guys. More good news for the Buckeyes. Got a commitment today from four-star linebacker Quinton Cipher out of North Carolina. We'll dive into that a little bit. Got a little bit of an update from the transfer portal news I talked about yesterday. But before we get going, guys, I see everybody in the chat already. Hit that like button for me. Hit the subscribe button as well. And super chats are open. So, yeah, we have known that Quint was going to be committing today and expected a Buckeye commitment today. And that is exactly what happened. And I am thrilled. This dude is I'm being told Ohio State's number one top of the board linebacker for this class, the one they were going after the most, man. 6'2", 6'3", 215, 220-pound guy. Awesome hair. Love the dude's hair. I'm going to get his highlights pulled up here while we dive into a couple things about him. I'm sure you guys have everybody's already done 9 million videos on this. It's a game anymore. If the second this kid commits, if you don't come up, if you don't post a live stream immediately, you're going to be last on the matter. So either way, man, when I first heard he came down, visited as a sophomore, that visit when he came here, he was super late because of the Big Ten noon kickoff things. But it wasn't till, about 6 months ago, Ohio State, really turned up the pressure here, going after this kid. This year, I want you guys to listen to these stats, man. This year as a junior, he had 181 tackles. He had 48 tackles for loss. 48. With 5.5 sacks, 5 PBUs, 4 interceptions, 3 fumble recoveries, and 3 forced fumbles. The dude is a maniac on the football field. And he's not one of these guys that he's not physically like a Sonny Styles or an Arvell Reese or something like that. But he has the physical attributes to get the job done clearly. It's just his mentality about the game and how smart he is about this game, because this dude's reaction time, his decision-making as you're watching this film right here, it's fast, man. It's some of the quickest decision-making I've seen out of the linebacker position from a high schooler in quite some time. As a sophomore, the dude had 31.5 tackles for loss. As a freshman, he had 8.5. As a sophomore, he had 12.5 sacks. And as a freshman, he had 3.5 sacks. So throughout his career, this cat has had 88 total tackles for loss, 21.5 sacks, and 9 interceptions total. So, you look at his ranking, he's ranked 151st prospect overall, number 9 linebacker. A lot of people are going to get caught up on that. But let me tell you who this came down to in the end. Miami, Alabama, Georgia, and Ohio State. And it was really in a Georgia and Ohio State type of battle. And the kid is an amazing football player. But we just got to give a shout out here to James Laurinaitis and what he is doing in this linebacker room. I mean, first year bringing out, look what he did last year with the talent that he had. Look what he's doing this year with Sonny and Arvell. Look at his last year's recruiting class, Riley Pettyjohn, Riley Pettyjohn, TJ Alford. This year got Sincere Johnson, CJ Sonnet in the fold, Braxton Rembrandt. And this year starting off pretty strong already with Quinton Cipher. When you're going up against Georgia for a linebacker, who Georgia really wanted this guy, and you're beating Georgia out for linebackers, James Laurinaitis is kind of turning the tide here on where linebacker U is, because, really not much of an argument that Georgia has used to take that spot over, right? Brought out a lot of really good linebackers over there. But the Buckeyes, man, James Laurinaitis about to put out 2 first-round draft picks, right? Cody Simon got drafted last year as well. What he was able to do with Cody Simon, the ability to bring him up, get him drafted. He's doing well in the NFL. It just goes to show you the type of coach that James Laurinaitis is, man. I love hearing him talk. I would, if I woke up one day and James Laurinaitis, 5-10 years down the road is the head coach for Ohio State, I would be just fine with it, because when you look at James's own football career, right, it's not like the physical attributes stood out like a Sonny Styles or Orville Reese, but it just goes to show you the work mentality he had, the effort that he put into every play. And that's what Quinton Cipher is, man. He's got it all. He's got the mentality on the football field. He's like a psycho on the football field, and clearly the dude puts the work in behind the scenes as well. He's like the perfect fit to come in here to this program. And James Laurinaitis, in my opinion, the perfect coach for this young man here. So shout out one of our listeners, Gio. Gio sent me an email a while back about Quinton. I guess he's got some family ties there in some way. Said, hey, keep an eye on this one. Dude's going to end up signing with the Buckeyes. And that's what he did, man. He did that today. Makes his decisions fast. You guys remember when Sonny Styles first came down from from safety to the linebacker position, and last year, the first couple games, everybody was like, man, he's a little bit slow, right, with his decision making. It's like he needs to make these decisions faster. We know that's because he came from the safety position, had a little bit more time back there. But now you see how Sonny is triggering this year. His quick decisions that he's making has just vaulted him into the first round. I mean, that's what this cat is right here. He's got the ability to read a play out, go up against guards, blow them up. I mean, look at that. Just bouncing around everywhere, bro. So he can stuff the run. Right, he can get in the backfield, 88 total tackles for loss in his career, 21.5 sacks. But the cool thing is he could also cover really well in zone coverage, man coverage as well. 9 interceptions on the year. Okay, so this guy's a baller. Do not look at and listen, I try not to do that much. I try not to say don't look at his stats or whatever, but the only reason he's not ranked higher is because his measurables and all those things don't stand out to a lot of people. But this kid will outwork anybody on the team. He'll be the first one at practice, the last one to leave, and he will give it everything he's got on every single play. It's like a little bit of mix of Tommy Eichenberg and, man, who would I want to say here? James Laurinaitis himself with the quick, smart decision-making, man. So I love this pickup, guys. Buckeyes are on a heater right now. And I'll tell you this, think about this. These days with NIL and the transfer portal and everything else going on, a lot of people expected, hey, we won a national title. We're about to have a killer recruiting class. Well, that's kind of a falsehood, man. That's never really been the case, like too awful much, but especially this year with NIL. But what would change that? If you go back to back, right? When we go back to back, Tank. No. Sorry. When we go back to back, I think you're going to see a little bump, right, in our recruiting that we're doing. But shout out James Laurinaitis, man. Welcome to the Brotherhood. Quinton Cipher out of Raleigh, North Carolina. Excited he is part of this class, going to be a leader in this class, joining Brady Edmonds, Jameer Brown, Eli Johnson. We're getting so many of them now that I got to pull it up because I forget. No, not in the state of Ohio. That's so annoying to do that. Jameer Brown, Eli Johnson, Brady Edmonds, Quinton Cipher, Kellen Weimer, Brody McNeil, Mason Wilt, and Angelo Smith, bringing us up to 8 commits total in this class. We now have the 3rd ranked class in 2027. We went from 6th to 3rd. We are averaging 93.47. Super early with all that stuff, but still just filling you guys in on the information. So, listen, guys, be excited about this guy. We beat out Georgia for this kid. He had Alabama as an offer as well. Everybody was after him. Super productive, super hard worker, a guy that you want on your team, a guy that's going to change the locker room and hold his brothers accountable up to the standard because they're going to want to try to keep up with this dude. So I love it, man. James Laurinaitis taking this linebacker room to a whole nother level, and it's great. OSU, man, thanks for the $1.99. Confidence we get Coleman out of the portal. That is the second thing I wanted to hit on today. I made a prediction for Chaz Coleman to come to the Buckeyes, but there's always my little, what do you call the little warning thing you leave underneath something? We're all aware of the things that can happen in today's recruiting, in today's transfer portal, okay? Teams come out of nowhere with ridiculous offers, and there is an offer out there right now. A certain team came in with a $3 million offer for 2 years for Chaz Coleman, I'm being told. Disclaimer, thank you, Steely. Right? And I believe it is Virginia Tech. His old coach with the James Franklin over there. And that's what I think this is going to come down to. You're getting so many mixed, right? All these people saying they have information on this, saying it's all about the money. It's not all about the money. And they know he's a Buckeye. They don't know he's a Buckeye. The information I have, what I told you guys already, that, hey, if he enters the portal, I expect him to be a Buckeye. That's the conversation I had with my source. That is the information I have. That's what I'm sticking to. But obviously, it is going to come down to when these teams are throwing money like this. We should be used to this by now, guys. So this shouldn't be like throwing us off. Nobody should be getting mad or anything. It is what it is. And what this does is, it kind of not that players that choose the money like are bad players or anything, but Ohio State recruits a certain type of person. They want a certain type of player to fill the certain type of culture here. And those guys, Ryan Day has said it 100 times, right? And Mark Pantoni said, hey, they don't want to be the largest offer because they don't want kids to come here for the money, right? Our director of recruiting said that, okay? The guy that leads the recruiting said, we don't want to be the highest offer here in any of these battles. And they're not going to be, right? There's certain things about Ohio State, right, where they know that, I mean, it's not like we're talking about, hey, Chaz Coleman's going to get paid $1.5 million a year somewhere or $100 a year at Ohio State. No, dude. The dude's still going to be balling out. What's kind of wild to me is, can you guys imagine if you were 18, 19 years old and somebody said, hey, I'm going to pay you $500,000 a year? If somebody came to me in high school and said, hey, I'll give you $100,000 a year to come play basketball at our college. Yeah, sign me up. He does have some family members that would love to see him play at Ohio State, obviously, but I'm being told they're kind of, sitting back, letting him make his decision. But yeah, we'll see what happens, man. The smoke out there right now is Virginia Tech or Ohio State. I'm not a guy that's going to sit here and flip things. I have not got any information that lead me to believe. If you are somebody that goes and reads all these message boards, you are going to be reading all kind of stuff everywhere, man. I will say this. There's a lot of people questioning, hey, why is this dude so sought after? And I just kind of want to remind people he played quarterback in high school, okay? Didn't have a lot of film at the defensive end position, still doesn't. I understand that, but it's more of when he came into Penn State, he kind of blew up during their training. Everybody heard about it. Then we saw some of his highlights in the games, his measurable and his lack of experience at the position, yet still able to come in and spin move Carson Hinsman like that and create a fumble in one of the other games. Like, he just has those attributes. And yeah, he is not completely proven, but name me a high school recruit that's proven. There is not a single high school recruit out there, right, that these guys are paying millions of dollars to. At least you have more film on Chaz Coleman in a college setting than you do any of these other high school guys that people are paying millions of dollars to. So, man, this is the world we live in now. I don't expect there to be guardrails put up anytime soon, so it's the game we play, but there are positive things to it, and it's that, hey, like, these things get worked out, right? If you're a fit for the Buckeyes, you'll choose the Buckeyes, right? It really tests if you're a fit for the Buckeyes because, right, let's say, just for example, let's say you're Chaz Coleman and you're like, man, my childhood dream was to come play for these Buckeyes. I know I should play for Ohio State. My heart is at Ohio State. This is where I want to go, right? And somebody offers you a lot of money and you choose that school with a lot of money. I think it's safe to say that, hey, maybe your heart wasn't as in this Ohio State culture as what you would have thought. Perfect example, Chris Henry Jr. He literally just went through it. He got the ultimate test, right? These are ultimate tests for these players, and it really filters them out. You know whether, right, these players are going to fit this culture or not, and that's the first test they got to pass. I mean, it's a pretty big test. Chris Henry Jr. turning away a lot of extra money to come here. Boom. Test passed, bro. You are built for this program. If you make that decision to come here because you feel led to, you're vibing with all the players, you're vibing with the culture, you want to come work hard. I mean, how many times Ryan Day, we heard the phone conversation. He told him, hey, this is not going to be easy. Not going to be easy at all. But what in life worth having for a long time does come easy? Not much. Not much. If you guys get like blessed immensely, like really, really quick, and it seems like it's too good to be true, I would probably do a little research there, man. It probably is too good to be true. Thank you so much for the $4.99, Chris. Go Bucks all day. Go Bucks for sure, man. OSU man, thank you again for the $4.99. Penn State offered him a lot of money and he still left. Yeah, great point. I do remember reading about that. That's the other thing. Yeah, they ponied up big time and he chose to leave. So, right, there was already talk that this family is not about the money, right? Different families, different kids come from different backgrounds. I'm sure you guys are smart enough to differentiate what I mean by that. Some kids grow up wealthier than others. I don't know his exact situation, but still. And also some kids grow up valuing things different. Depends how you're raised. Some people are raised to value money, number one. Some people are raised to value God, number one. Some people are raised to value family and friends, number one, right? It's just what it is, man. We're dealing with human beings here. So also that video of him talking in the shoe after the game made me think OSU, Penn State inside says us. Yeah, a lot of Penn State insiders are saying that, but like I said, you got a lot of people coming out now saying all kind of things. Thanks. What up, Scoochie? Thanks for the $1.99. Coleman getting $3 million here in 2 years. Easy. Dude, that's the thing, man. I've always been curious about those conversations with these players because it's like, all right, if you have the confidence in yourself as a player, if you really have that confidence, then where else in the country can you go that's like Ohio State to where if you know that you're going to produce on the field, then you're going to be a star. Like, you can make however much money you want to make. You want to come to the city of Columbus and grind it out with all these businesses and stuff, you are going to be making enough money. Real estate opportunities. I mean, dude, it is a growing city. If you have that confidence in yourself, like that true confidence, and you come to Ohio State and you really do it, look at Caden Curry. Sit back, waited the whole time. I bet you he's glad he turned away those no offers now, right? Because look at what being on the biggest stage in the country does if you succeed. When you're playing on the biggest stage in the country and you succeed at it, you're going to win the biggest prizes. NFL teams love Buckeyes. They know the program they're coming from. They know the culture they're coming from. It just is what it is, man. Even if you don't make it to the NFL, if you played for the Buckeyes and you live in Columbus, you're set. You are set. Go start you a coffee shop. You're going to be a millionaire. I'll come buy coffee from you. Shoot. So, a lot of good things, right, coming from this program right now because they keep the main thing, right? And what is the main thing, chat? These young men. Raising these young men the correct way matters more than winning at Ohio State. Yes, I said it. Treating these men, giving good examples to these players inside the locker room means more to Ryan Day than winning a football game. We have a perfect example of what doing the opposite does to a program. We can all agree there. Does anybody disagree with me? If you disagree in the chat, I would love to hear about it. I would love to talk about it because there's a big difference, right? You see all these other teams across the country trying different things. Michigan tried to cheat their way. Oregon, USC are trying to buy their way. There's going to be problems in that. I'm not saying Ohio State is perfect, but I am saying that what they have set up, what they going on. I mean, right now, when we sit, I mean, what is the best program in the country as a whole? As a whole, if you're a football player, I mean, I would find it hard pressed for people to vote anywhere but Ohio State right now. APR, the culture, the winning, the NFL draft. I mean, they have everything, man. Like, it's just everything. So, huge shout out Ryan Day and this coaching staff, man. So, listen, guys, I feel good about Chaz Coleman. Could it go either way? Heck yeah, it could, right? You guys have been part of Buckeye Boys. I've talked to families, okay? I called a family member live on the show and got told, hey, we Buckeyes. And they didn't sign up the Buckeyes. So, listen, I just, all I can do anymore is just keep it as real as I can with you. It is what it is. I mean, at least I'm giving you guys a firsthand experience of what these insiders go through, right? They can hear it out of the horse's mouth, and it might not be right. So, kind of is what it is, man. The whole there's part of that recruiting industry and making these picks that is just straight dead. You know what I mean? Because not all recruits are the same. Now, there has been several times when know the family, know the player, and talk to them. They're like, hey, we're the Buckeye. We're a Buckeye. And they stay Buckeyes, right? So for the most part, that's how it goes. But everybody's in a different situation, man. I don't judge any of those families for any decisions that they've made. No ill will or anything like that. It is their decision to make. That's their right to do whatever they want. And that just is what it is. But yeah, so we'll see how this Chaz Coleman thing works out. I hope he's a Buckeye. If he's not, there's several options out there. A defensive end that the Buckeyes recruited very hard entered the portal. I'm looking him up right now. Amaris Williams out of Auburn. Had 21 tackles, 2.5 sacks in the season there, but the Buckeyes recruited him very hard. So we'll see. That's the other thing, guys. You got to be careful, man, because it's like, right, a lot of the times when we see players get in the portal, we want to see how they've done at other schools, and that's how we base if they're going to have success here or not. Well, hopefully we learn something together this year, right? I predicted Bo Atkinson to be the starting defensive end on this team, the best defensive end on this team. Why? Because he had the most production. He was really sought after, best player on North Carolina's team. Boy, were we wrong. Now, do I think Bo Atkinson's going to be a player here? I do. A lot of people don't, but I have not given up that yet. Ethan Anianwa, same thing. Well, guess what, guys? Let me ask you, what player that we got out of the transfer portal last year has been the most productive for this team? This is going to be interesting. What player that we picked up last year out of the portal has been the most important piece of this team? I'm going to sit in silence because I'm very curious. I know my answer. Hands down, easily, I know my answer. But y'all might not agree. I'm just going to give you my answer. Phillip Daniels. Phillip Daniels, to me, at the right tackle position, offensive lineman, biggest surprise as well. Nobody expected him to come in here and start at all. And nobody expected him to come in and take somebody's starting role. Yes, you can judge his play on the field, but remember who he's played beside all season. It's difficult. It's a team thing, but to me, my vote is Phillip Daniels all day long. And my point I'm trying to make is when we got Phillip Daniels out of the transfer portal, was anybody thrilled? Did anybody think he was going to come make an impact this year? Let me answer that question for you. No. No, you did not. We all thought Ethan Anianwa would. So when you're in the portal, when we're looking at these portal players that enter this year, I caution you, before you judge one of these guys, just take yourself back to these scenarios here that show you, hey, what can happen and how different this Buckeye program is. Because just because he's only had 2.5 sacks in 2 years at Auburn, there's a big difference in the Auburn football program and the Ohio State football program. I'm just using him as an example. Some of these players cannot thrive in a different program, and when they come in here to this Buckeye program, something clicks, and they absolutely thrive. And that happened with Phillip Daniels, and it did not happen with some of the other guys that we would have chosen over Phillip Daniels. Matter of fact, that even the young coaches chose over Phillip Daniels, meaning they paid them more money, and he's the one that ended up starting. So even coaches that do this for a living make mistakes, and it's hard for them as well. So, right? So you got to be patient, right? I understand it. I'll be the first one to come on here when the Ohio State gets their first guy out of the portal. I'll come on here and tell you guys exactly what I think. But the truth is, right, we have no idea. All right, we can talk about it. We can sound real smart talking about it, but we ain't got a clue, man. We ain't got a clue because you don't know how this culture here, how this coaching staff here, how Mick in the weight room here, which let's not forget about him, dude. He is Body by Maradi Mick is just as important to this team as Ryan Day is. So, I mean, that's just the truth. I mean, I know that's not going to be popular with a lot of people, but I mean, that's my opinion. I wouldn't call it truth. I would call it Buckeye Boys' opinion. But either way, guys, on a roll here. Got Quinton Cipher in there. Alabama, Oklahoma play tonight. I want Alabama to win, but I think Oklahoma's going to win this game. You guys heard me break down the bracket last night. I think it's going to be Oregon and Ohio State in the national title game. And I think the Buckeyes are going to take this thing away. But it is football weekend, guys. I'm stoked, bro. I might even get back on tonight. I don't know. I don't know what I'd talk about if I came back on, but I'm just so geeked that we're back to some football games that matter, and I'm about to go to the Cotton Bowl. I don't know if I'm going to be able to help it, so I might get back on here. But, yeah, players entering the transfer portal. I'll keep you guys updated the best that I can. Do not forget to hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Both channels over there on the Buckeye Boys channel as well. Buckeye Boys with a Z. If you're listening on Apple Podcast, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And if you're not a part of the Scoop message board, dude, the place is seriously cool. Okay, like somebody got on there. Yes, I mean, about a year ago, I asked for advice on setting up retirement stuff. And I listened to the advice, and it's working great. Okay, somebody got on there, I think today or yesterday, and said, hey, my kid's got his first interview. What should he wear? Okay. And also dropping nuggets from the helping technician, Nevada, Funky, B. Moses is on there, the Oracle, nuggets outside of the Woody before any other board. It just is what it is. It's a different board than these other places you can go to, man. It just is. I love it. So go check it out if you haven't already. But I appreciate you guys joining the chat tonight. I appreciate everything you have done. With the likes, the views, the subscriptions, everything, man. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you either later or who knows. But on that note, love you guys. Go Buckeyes. OH.